Well, as Matt Neal leads the field round on the formation lap, it's time to hand over to Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thanks very much, Louise. Here we are, all set to go for another great event at Donington Park. The weather is perfect, and with Plato mid-grid, we could be on for some fireworks.
Well, we certainly are. After 3 red flags in qualifying, who knows what we're going to have in the race. But the Hondas look to have it sewn up, but Plato will have something to say about it.
So let's take a look at how the grid lines up then on that pole position. Once again, as he was at Brands, is Matt Neal. Gordon Shedden is alongside him for Honda Racing. Then James Nash and Andrew Jordan, both in turbocharged powered Vauxhalls. Tom Chilton and Jeff Smith are on row 3 of the grid. Good effort that from Jeff Smith. Matt Jackson and Jason Plato together on row 4. Top couple in the championship. Then Alex McDowell and Rod Collard with the BMW. He starts on row 5. Paul O'Neill and Tom Boardman are on the 6th row of the grid. Row 7, Tony Gillam. Then Andy Neat and another of the Team Aon Ford Focuses. Liam Griffin and Tom Onslow Cole in the Golf, they're on row 8. Then it's Nick Foster in his BMW and John George. Behind them we've got Dave Newsham, Frank Rathel. Rob Austin makes his debut in the Audi rear-wheel drive NGTC car. Chris James is with him on row 11, and at the back is Tony Hughes in another NGTC car, the Toyota. Cars already making their way on this formation lap then. Just looking at the lower end of the grid initially, Chris James had a little incident in qualifying, but the car is repaired. That's good to see him back out once again. Let's see if we can grab a very quick word with Jason Plato as he comes down towards the chicane. Jason, it's Ben. You're going to have a bit of hard work to do here, mate, but you were very quick off the line at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, I was. I think you're right with the hard work, but we'll see, you know, anything can happen. It's a race, we'll get stuck in.
All right, well, have a good one. So, there we are, Jason already coming round onto the grid, so he doesn't want a long conversation at the moment, Tim.
No, he's, you know, he's sounding very laid back and sort of jovial about his chances. I mean, the Audi, Rob Austin's pulled off in the Audi on the warm-up lap. What a shame. We were so looking forward to seeing this car race.
It's a very good-looking car. It was running great yesterday. Free practice, qualifying. They got lots of laps in.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't delay the start. They should be able to. It seems like it doesn't want to move, but the cars are still lining up.
Well, let's hope that it's... is it going to be out of the way, or are they going to delay the start? Let's just get a little look at this. We might get a delayed start, quite possibly, if they want to shift that car. The yellow flag.
You can see the marshal in the background there at Coppice. It's on the inside, so it should be perfectly okay. I think there's just a little bit of extra muscle coming across. Now let's watch these cars off the line. Turbocharged cars, difficult to get off the line. Matt Neal starting in 2nd gear.
Round 4, the championship gets underway, and it's a good start from James Nash in the Vauxhall. The black Vauxhall, which I drove yesterday, has surged into the lead of the race. Well, and off in the background, John George, I think that is, has hit the wall on the inside. Let's watch them through. It's James Nash leading ahead of the 2 Hondas, and wide goes Matt Jackson. Round goes Tony Gillam in the middle there in the green and pink car. He gets facing the right way. A chaotic start.
Well, it was, but a perfect start for Nash. He absolutely rocketed off the line. Matt Neal initially got too much wheel spin. We saw smoke coming off his tyres, but he's already latching onto the back of Nash. But a great start from Nash.
We've got a real race on our hands now. Where is Plato? Not bad actually, 4, 5, 6. So he's in 6th place at the moment, just ahead of the BMW. That's a good start. I think that's is that Rod Collard in there? He's had a pretty good getaway.
Well, Rob has not lost the art of getting that BMW off the line. Well, he knows it's a place he can make up positions, and with all the comings and goings on the first corner at Redgate, he's made up places. That's Liam Griffin coming through.
Back up front though, and there's definitely pressure on James Nash. Now, can he withstand the pressure from Matt Neal as they turn through the chicane? Paul O'Neill down the inside, and O'Neill makes a good move down the inside, and Matt Jackson there takes the place. James Nash leads then from Matt Neal in 2nd. It's Gordon Shedden in 3rd place. Andrew Jordan is in 4th. Here comes Matt Neal. He goes down the inside. Oh, that was classic Matt Neal. Really tight into Redgate, and he's taken it.
Well, Nash obviously didn't expect him to come, because he came, telegraphed the manoeuvre, made it very obvious and left the door wide open. But we know Matt Neal can't use maximum braking the whole time, or it will wear the brakes out, but he's certainly used them to the maximum there. Remember, there's no engine braking from the turbocharged engines.
Matt Neal does love this circuit. You're on board with James Nash in 2nd place, and he had a clear space in front of him a moment ago, but not any longer, because he's now following former double champion Matt Neal, who started from pole position but survived the first lap this time. Remember, he ended up in the gravel trap at Brands Hatch on the first lap. So things are already going a bit better here for Matt Neal.
Yeah, the Vauxhall of Nash looking very good mid-corner, carrying very good mid-corner speed. The Honda seems to have the legs. Watch Matt Neal smoking the tyres there. Nash straight through between the two Honda racing cars. Collard with a good start. Further back, just a bit of contact there. That was John George just moving across the front of one of the BMWs.
Yeah, there was sort of a bit of ricochet. I think it was Dave Newsham. Newsham had a good start, tried to go down the middle. Yeah, look, it was a sort of sandwich effect.
Yeah, it was. And then there was a final little touch, and that was the one that tipped George off.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's one of those things. So now James Nash in the black and silver Vauxhall has got pressure from the other Honda. Look how Matt Neal has escaped over one lap. And now, Nash nearly loses it through the Craner curves.
He just clipped that curb a little bit too hard there, and it lifted the inside front wheel and gave him a big moment.
Look at
Jordan's got taken advantage to get a run on Shedden.
Yeah, Jordan trying to go all the way around the outside. That's a brave place, but it'll give him the inside line into McLean's, and he's done it. So he now moves up into third place. Shedden, who was on the attack for second, suddenly finds himself in fourth, and behind them Tom Chilton is chasing them, and Jason Plato is in sixth place.
Yeah, Plato's made the most of the first lap, but he can't do much more. He needs to rely on this lot scrapping amongst themselves, which so far they're doing, apart from Matt Neal, who's stretched it away. I expect he just wanted to put some distance between him and Nash, and he'll try and manage that gap now and keep it at around a second if he can.
Has Shedden got a problem? Because suddenly he's dropped back into the clutches of Tom Chilton as well now. So Chilton's really putting an attack. Behind them you've got Plato and Collard, but it's Chilton who's looking the most racy here.
Yeah, it may have just been some dirt on his tyres from moving offline temporarily, but we'll see if he can regroup and get going again. But you can see now there's a much longer run down to Redgate from the chicane, so any mistake at the chicane leaves the door open for someone to pass at Redgate. Redgate is now the best passing place on the circuit.
Looking back here from Gordon Shedden at Tom Chilton's Ford Focus, the new shape Ford Focus, the global Focus, and Chilton had a reasonable start to his campaign with a third place finish in race one at Brands, but the second two races weren't quite so strong. They've still got a little bit of development work to do on the new car. Lovely view of it though, as you see the front end of that Focus closing up to the back of the Honda just briefly, but very evenly matched up the hill and into Coppice.
Yeah, not monstering the curbs as much as some of the drivers. Tom being actually quite neat and tidy. The team benefiting from a day's testing at Pembrey this week, where they did an exhaustive amount of damper work.
So the leaders down through the chicane, and Matt Neal's already opened up a bit more of a gap. You're watching Gordon Shedden there, second and third, and this is an interesting rivalry because the two cars are identical but run by different teams. Andrew Jordan in the Pertec car is putting James Nash under some pressure here. He's having a look down into Redgate. Oh, he's there, down the inside. James Nash left the door open, and Andrew Jordan's taken second place.
Yeah, that's twice now Nash has been caught napping there. He obviously thinks he's braking as late as possible, but it's not late enough. You can slide up the inside and just stop the car and block the car you're passing from getting back at you, which is what's happened twice to him now.
Lucky view from on board James Nash's car. He clips the inside curve, then under the bridge, up through the left-hander, and now up towards McLean's, but he's dropped back. He's not going to be in a place to attack again. And these two youngsters in very similar cars but run by different teams, there is going to be a great rivalry between them, I'm sure, throughout the season. But Nash at the moment, what's going on here? No, this is Smith battling with McDowell. McDowell is battling with the white Vauxhall. That white Vauxhall is Jordan's teammate, and they're still side by side, and he's got it back, but now McDowell will cut through.
Yeah, great side-by-side racing from these two, and no contact at all, but they really are having a good battle. And now, of course, McDowell will have to defend down the straight because the Vauxhall is a bit quicker on top speed, and lurking up behind them, Onslow Cole in the VW.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Oh, and third, Nash has lost third now. He's back to fourth because Gordon Shedden in another 52 Honda has taken another place. So Nash, struggling, made a really good start. He was fast in qualifying, but now he's dropping down the order.
Yeah, maybe he's set his car up a little bit too aggressively and didn't want to give up any of that qualifying speed to compromise for the race setup.
Yeah,
but he clearly made a mistake there at the chicane because, as I said, that long drag down the Redgate down, Shedden was able to just drive past and capitalise on a mistake.
Yeah, early in the race you would think for anything to be sort of going off yet, but what are we on? Lap 6 out of 16. So plenty of time to go. Matt Neal has been caught a little bit by Andrew Jordan.
Yeah, Andrew Jordan half a second quicker on the last lap. And I mean, Jordan had a seriously compromised practice session. He had a shock absorber go down on the car in practice too. They didn't find it till late. He then kept hitting the red flags, and he didn't put his lap time in qualifying.
Oh! Collard going wide, and Jackson's got a chance to get him here. This is for 7th place. Matt Jackson in the Airways Ford is going to take that because he's got good horsepower, but a little mistake from Collard left the door open.
Yeah, just going back to Andrew Jordan, he was my tip for pole, but the compromised qualifying session meant he only got his lap in at the end. But he has more experience than anybody about making the tyres last on this turbocharged car. He spent a lot of time last year working on it as Boardman looks up the inside, doesn't quite get there.
No, he's looking racy though, Tom Boardman. Didn't qualify quite where he hoped. There is Andrew Jordan, then in second. The gap between him and Matt Neal, 0.8 of a second as they came across the line. Shedden is in third in the other Honda, then the Vauxhall of James Nash, then Tom Chilton. But it is this race up front we're keeping an eye on. Andrew Jordan, as you say, now with a car that's working well. Interestingly, they borrowed some dampers for that number 77 Pertec car from rival team Triple Eight. It's nice to know that the rival teams can still help one another.
Well, that is really good to hear, isn't it? Some old-fashioned camaraderie in the paddock. But I mean, Jordan took another 10th and a half off the leader there, and the quickest in the top 3 was Shedden. So it shows the Honda has got pace. I believe Matt Neal is really trying to just manage this race, manage his tyres, manage his brakes, and as I said prior to the race, win in the slowest possible time. But if he's not careful, he will be under pressure.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see back. There's James Nash still with Tom Chilton chasing him down, and that the Ford Focus still being developed, of course. First year for the new car, and then you've got the other car, the red coloured car, coming into shot now of Matt Jackson behind Plato, and Collard is battling with Boardman. Boardman down the outside in the black Seat, but Collard has the protective line on the inside, and for the moment Boardman isn't able to get past. Behind them both, by the way, it is Paul O'Neill in 10th, McDowell is in 11th, Jeff Smith in 12th, and Tom Onslow Cole in the Golf is in 13th ahead of Nick Foster and Frank Rathel in the NGTC Toyota.
You know, Tom Boardman had that incident with Chris James in practice, and that compromised his qualifying, but he's certainly enjoying this lay-on with the turbocharged engine now.
Yeah, looking good, isn't it? And it's always been, as you said before, Tim, it's a great handling chassis. Now it's got the power to go with it. He can be a threat at various different circuits, but right now Collard just seems to have enough with that BMW, which of course the tyres won't be going off on. That's Tony Hughes, I'm afraid, into the pit lane in his Toyota. Yeah,
that's a shame. That is another one of the NGT new generation touring cars. He completes a Toyota Avensis, but having some teething problems still with that car.
Yeah, and the Toyota body shell built just a few miles down the road from this Donington Park circuit, so I think there are some Toyota people, Toyota workers here this weekend, hopefully enjoying some sunshine and some great racing, as Tom Boardman once again is forced to go to the outside. Now, you can go around the outside here, but Collard's late on the brakes. You can see it weaving under braking. That's how late he braked, but it was enough.
Yeah, Tom's sort of mistiming this. He's actually catching Collard too quickly on the exit of the chicane, and there's nowhere to go but the outside, and then it's the long way round. He needs to just drop back a bit and get more of a run through the chicane so he can open the door going down the straight to get on the inside.
And it's all allowing Paul O'Neill in the purple car, the other Chevrolet there, the car that Jason Plato took to the title last year, to close up.
It is, and we know that Paul will take any opportunity he can, but just going back to Boardman's Seat, it actually has exactly the same weight distribution as when they ran the turbo diesel engine. So in fact, there's a good proven setup for that car.
Yeah, that's handy. Now let's see what Liam Griffin and Tony Gillam have been doing here. Tony Gillam in the latter part of that. I'm not sure quite what was going on there, but whether Griffin got past him, but they're battling away over 17th place as we're back with Collard, who's holding on to 8th place at the moment. Boardman in 9th, O'Neill in 10th. McDowell is not far behind them. There's going to be a 4-car train in a little while, I think. And then behind them, a bit of a distance, is Jeff Smith, who qualified really well yesterday. Not surprising, perhaps, to see him drop down the order a little bit in the heat of the action.
Yeah, I think the first lap and the nice slide there. It's great to see a rear-wheel drive car sliding, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely. Really good to see that. And Collard, of course, the real master in the BMW. But you do get the feeling that the BMW may have had its day a little bit in British touring cars under the current spec. But of course, who knows what might come along in the future.
Well, for sure, West Surrey Racing are a crack outfit. We know that. They can't make that car go any quicker, but it's in the face of an immovable object and the immovable force, which is the force of turbocharged engines, I'm afraid. That's the way the future, and unless they were to stick a turbocharged engine in there, which is a possibility, and it was something they could have done if they'd wanted to over the winter, they're not going to make that car go any faster.
No, well, we'll see what happens there. Boardman still chasing, Collard there with O'Neill and McDowell closing in there in the Silver Line Chevrolet, teammates of course to Jason Plato. Plato, by the way, for those of you wondering, still in 6th place at the moment. He's got Matt Jackson just about a second behind him, but this is still the closest fight on track at the moment, as we're on lap 11 now out of 16. The first of 3 races here at Donington. Look at the speed traps. Interesting, you've got Collard on 104.9 with his non-turbo car, but look at Smith, particularly Jeff Smith in the Vauxhall with the turbo power. A difference there, Tim, of 4.5 miles an hour or so.
Yeah, I mean, that's across the start-finish line, so fairly close to the exit of the chicane, so it doesn't actually exhibit. There's another speed trap just here at the bottom of the Craners, which actually shows the differential much greater.
Now, what's been going on? Frank Rathel on the right with Andy Neat on the inside in the Ford. Andy tried to go for it into the chicane. Oh, and he came straight back out in front of Liam Griffin. That was well done by all of them to get through there.
Yeah, and that's the problem now with trying to overtake at the chicane. Oh, Plato slowed down.
Plato in big trouble. Plato in big trouble. What has happened to him? He was running on his own.
Puncture, left front.
Right, well spotted. Well, he's obviously talking to the team.
Well, he's very unhappy on the radio. He's saying, I'm driving as fast as I can and the turbo cars are just driving ahead. But he's set his car up to be as aggressive as possible for the race. He won't have wanted to compromise his speed at all because the other cars, the turbo cars, are qualifying so much quicker, but it's caught him out in the race.
Let's have a go at talking to him. Jason, it's Ben. What's happened here?
Well, I got a puncture, Ben. We're just driving as hard as we can. To even just stay with the turbo cars is ridiculous. We just can't compete. It's a bit of a joke, if I'm honest. But there we go. I'm sure I'll reflect in due course. But at the minute, I'm pretty wound up. If I'm to be fair.
So just to confirm, you didn't hit anybody or anything. It's just through where?
No, I felt the vibration coming down the start-finish straight on that last lap, and I thought, here we go. Tyre's going to let go, and of course, vibration increased going down, trying the curves, and then turned into on hairpin pop left front.
All right, thanks for that. Well, disappointing for Jason Plato, but of course what he's saying effectively is he's having to push so much to the limit. And Dunlop, do tell the guys if you hit the off Dave Newsham.
No, that was off from the start.
Yeah,
that was off. That's been parked up there since the start. But what
Dunlop do say to the guys, you've got to be careful about running the curbs in the early laps, that kind of thing. He's got to push hard, hasn't he?
It's purely a matter of how much front camber they put on the car.
Yeah.
They wind camber onto these cars for qualifying because it makes them quicker over a lap. But you can't leave it on at that setting for the race. So it's a case of how much do you back it off and compromise speed in the race for keeping the tyre intact. And because, as I say, Jason is slower in qualifying anyway, he doesn't want to give anything away in the race, and he's just run a bit too much camber. It's no fault of the tyre whatsoever. It's purely how aggressively they run the car.
Yeah, they're running it to the very edge, and understandably when they're trying to beat these other fast cars as well, but they've obviously overstepped the mark a little bit this time, and it's caused them a puncture. They'll have to get that changed. Send him back out on his way, but of course no chance of scoring points.
Yeah, I mean, unless he doesn't go a lap down and there's a safety car, which looks unlikely at the moment. But it takes so long to change the tyre because, of course, it's 5 wheel studs he's got to do. If it was in the old touring car days with one nut in the middle, it would have been in and out. But he's almost certainly going to lose a lap here.
Yeah, no, that's right. These guys they are sending him on his way. Yeah, gently.
Well, he's pretty reluctant to bother going out, to be honest, isn't he?
But of course, the trouble is with this format of racing, if something goes wrong for you in race 1, you're then at the back for race 2, so it can stymie 2 races, and then you just got to hope that the 3rd race you can do something.
Well, it is possible to get in the top 10.
Yeah.
We've seen it many times in race 2, right from the back. You've only got to be in the top 10 to have a chance of being on the front row for the last race. So it's not over yet. But Jason was being very careful to watch his words. He was obviously tempted to say something more, and he was very wound up. We're getting a driver in the heat of emotional battle there, but he controlled himself very well. But clearly, massive frustration with him at the moment.
Now back with the top 3. You're on board with Gordon Shedden, who's running in 3rd place. So there's been no real change up front since the early lap. Basically, Matt Neal leading the race from Andrew Jordan in 2nd place in the Pertec Vauxhall, and then Matt Neal's teammate Gordon Shedden you're riding with now in 3rd. Seems to be a pretty even pace between these 3 cars. Obviously the 2 teammates, but the Vauxhall seems to be doing very similar lap times. Jordan hasn't really been able to attack, but he is sustaining the pace.
Yeah, I think, Max trying, as I said, to win it in the slowest possible time. I think that Jordan's probably been hoping that Matt was going to come back to him in the latter part of the race, but it looks like they're very equal.
Now McDowell and O'Neill here battling. Oh, two Chevys all drumming through the chicane. O'Neill gets sideways. How did he hang on to that? He did just about. But it's not good news to see that to the different teams, of course, but they're still Chevrolets. They don't want to be taking each other out. Look at Jeff Smith. He's going to get in between them now. Yeah,
good driving by Jeff Smith. Well, good driving by both the Chevrolet drivers. It's very hard to get two cars through there in side by side. Oh, McDowell's going to get back inside Smith.
Yeah.
But Smith's extra power is going to just push him in front before they turn left down the Craners.
McDowell was certainly in the wars a little bit at Brands Hatch, got a couple of penalties, had a jump start as well, so wants a few clean races here. Well, he's kept it clean, but that was some hard battling with Paul O'Neill, and Jeff Smith took full advantage, as there's no reason why he shouldn't. And he's got between the two of them now. So O'Neill's in 9th, Smith is in 10th, not for scoring a point, and McDowell just outside the points in 11th at the moment. Tom Onslow Cole is still in 12th in the Golf. Nick Foster is 13th in his BMW. Liam Griffin running 14th, and Andy Neat is 15th. There is the Golf, by the way. Now having a bit of a battle there with Nick Foster.
Yeah, great little battle this, here we go back to the front, and you can see the first 4 cars all pretty close. The front 3 certainly close together, but it is the last lap, and Matt Neal has managed this race and his car and his tyres perfectly so far.
Yeah, a beautiful drive so far from Matt Neal, as you say. Back on board with Gordon Shedden as they plunge down through the Craner curves. Lovely to see the crowds getting a good view of that section of the circuit, both on the infield and outside there. But it's been a lovely run this from Shedden and the 2 Hondas, but that car of Andrew Jordan also has been flying, and now they've just got to get it to the finish. I think Jordan will be happy to be splitting the 2 Hondas if he is still, because Shedden's still attacking. Jordan's stated aim this year is to try and win the Independence title. Remember, the Hondas are official backed cars, and Shedden actually made a mistake turning in. He got too wide, and that's dropped him well back. So Jordan is now safe in 2nd, and actually Shedden made quite a big mistake. If Nash had been any closer, he'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, he's just trying to put Jordan under enough pressure to make him make a mistake at the last but one corner, give him a chance in the chicane, but in fact it was Shedden that carried too much speed in and lost it. So, a well-controlled, excellent victory by Matt Neal and Honda Racing.
Matt Neal wins the first race of the day here at Donington. 2nd place goes to Andrew Jordan. Gordon Shedden finishes in 3rd. Nash finishes in 4th. Let's watch them across the line. Chilton took 5th. Matt Jackson takes 6th place. Rob Collard 7th. And then it's going to be Tom Boardman, I think, ahead of Paul O'Neill, McDowell and Smith. So McDowell got back past Smith on that last lap and claimed the final point. Let's just watch the others. There's the Golf, and that's a good result for the AMD Miltech team. They've got their car home in 12th. They had Nick Foster, and we've got Liam Griffin and Andy Neat coming through, and the rest of the field. But for Matt Neal, a circuit he loves, the track where he won his £250,000 here as becoming the first privateer to ever win a round of the British Touring Cars. He won race 3 here last year, and he's come back and won race 1 with the turbocharged version of this Honda, and that was a very accomplished performance.
Yeah, it certainly was. He does love this circuit, and maybe we're seeing a new favourite overtaking place now into Redgate for Matt. It always used to be up into McLean's, didn't it? But he really has driven an excellent race. We're just going to see, this is McDowell getting past Smith on the last lap. Oh, just puts Smith wide on the exit of Redgate and gets up the inside. Well, that's touring car racing.
That's how you get past a turbo car. You put him on the grass so he can't actually put the power down, and then you can get past him. So there we are. That's certainly a good run from Matt Neal and Andrew Jordan. There we are on board with Jason Plato, who, as we know, is a slightly less happy individual. The reigning champion, classified 19th in the end, and Jason Plato bitterly disappointed. They gambled a little bit on setup. They paid the price with a puncture, and it's meant, Tim, that he's got no points out of this race, whereas one of his biggest rivals, of course, Matt Neal, has got maximum.
Well, we knew this circuit was going to suit the turbocharged cars. We knew the Honda looked like the quickest of them coming away from Brands, and they're clearly trying to maximise their points from this weekend, and they do look ever so strong.
So, a tremendous start to the weekend here for the Honda Racing team, with 1st and 3rd Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, split though by the Pertec Racing Vauxhall of Andrew Jordan. No punctures today, he held in there for a good 2nd. And James Nash, good start, but dropped to 4th in the end. Tom Chilton finished 5th. Matt Jackson in the Airwaves car was 6th. Rob Collard is 7th in the BMW. Then Tom Boardman, and behind him Paul O'Neill and Alex McDowell, who had some good dicing. 11th place went to Jeff Smith. Tom Oslo-Cole was 12th in the Golf. Nick Foster, then Liam Griffin in the second Airwaves car. Andy Neate was 15th. Tony Gillam only 16th this time, ahead of Frank Rathel, Chris James, and of course Jason Plato and Tony Hughes. So let's see what that means in terms of the points. Jason Plato was leading. He ain't anymore. Matt Neal, his great rival, has now taken the advantage by 3 points over Jason. Matt Jackson in second, tied on points though with both James Nash and Gordon Shedden. That's all looking very tight. Paul O'Neill is in 6th, ahead of Chilton, Jordan, Collard and McDowell. So let's take a look at what we've got lined up on the grid here, Tim. We've got Matt Neal, who's going to be starting from that pole position. He's carrying some 45 kilos of ballast, and this is how the rest of the grid lines up as well. Andrew Jordan will be alongside him in the Vauxhall with 27 kilos. James Nash starting 3rd, where he did for the first race, in fact, had a great start. Tom Chilton 4th, and Matt Jackson 5th and 6th is Rob Collard. He had a good run in that BMW earlier. Tom Boardman and Paul O'Neill are 7th and 8th on the grid. Then it's Alex McDowell and Jeff Smith on row 5, 9th and 10th. 11th and 12th, the Golf with Tom Onslow-Cole and the WSR BMW for Nick Foster. Behind them we've got Liam Griffin in the Airwaves Ford, and then Andy Neate in his Ford, the Team Aon version. Tony Gillam and Frank Rathel, who's had to repair an exhaust manifold for the race. Chris James and Jason Plato back on row 9. Jason had the puncture in race 1, remember. Tony Hughes and John George follow them. John's car having been repaired from a start line accident. Dave Newsham similarly. Then Rob Austin, who had a prop shaft failure on the Audi earlier. And Gordon Shedden, who got excluded from that first race. As we heard, he had an overboost problem. A technical infringement has pushed Gordon Shedden to the back. So that's how they line up for this one, Tim, and Gordon Shedden's got his work cut out.
Well, we're going to have eyes everywhere, aren't we? The front of the grid and the back, with Gordon Shedden and Plato at the back. They're obviously going to make some progress pretty rapidly, but it'd be interesting to watch at the front as well. I mean, Matt Neal has now picked up some success ballast, as has Andrew Jordan. James Nash, interesting, has lost a little bit of ballast, so we'll have to see his progress, and he certainly will have learnt from the first race.
Yeah, absolutely. So James is going to be heading off on this formation lap. Let's just get him to see him away on the formation lap and make sure he gets away cleanly. He had an absolutely brilliant start, didn't he, from that second row, from this spot actually, on the first start.
Yeah, he knows what to do off the line here for sure, because he absolutely rocketed off the line in the first race.
So away they go then on the formation lap to get brakes, tyres up to temperature. Now, we've got our radio communications with a couple of the guys. James is one of them actually. Now, I was lucky enough to drive that car yesterday. Let's have a quick word with James. James, this is Ben in the comm box. You very kindly let me drive your car yesterday, but actually what I wanted to talk to you about was what a brilliant start you made in that first race. Can you do it again?
I don't quite know what I did there, but we had a quick look at the data just to see. It was just a well hooked up start. I'll just try everything again. I'm in the same position. I don't see why it can't, but it's a bit of a lottery sometimes on the starts.
Now presumably you've got to look after the tyres as well, otherwise they go away by the end of the race.
Yeah, we struggled in the first one. We had a slow puncture coming round on the last couple of laps, so just pushed a bit too hard early on and maybe clipped a few curbs, so I'm going to have to watch out this time.
Okay, James, have a good race, and
Thanks,
as I say, good to see him putting in some consistent performances. But right at the back of the field, there we are, taking it quite slowly at the moment, is Gordon Shedden. Now, he had to come from the back at Brands Hatch after an accident in free practice in the first race, and he did fight his way through in quite an aggressive way, if you remember, but he forced his way through, gained a lot of places. Let's have a quick word with Gordon now and see how he's feeling about this one. Gordon, it's Ben up in the comm box. Sorry to see you at the back, but you've got a bit of work to do now.
Yeah, not what was planned, but you know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. So, you know, I've done it before, and I'll try and do it again. Get as far up there as I can, and hopefully get something for the reverse grid.
Yeah, second race, second event running. Of course, you had to do this at Brands Hatch in race 1, didn't you?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of an easier time of it this weekend, but it would appear that luck is not on my side at the moment. So let's see if we can change that.
Okay, have a good race. So Gordon Shedden there, just to quickly explain that once again, Tim, the feedback they had from the first race on the data logging, showing a slight overboost, even for a fraction of a second, but that is an automatic infringement.
Yeah, I mean, obviously boost is very carefully monitored in touring car engines and needs to be on turbocharged cars. And I mean, TOCA have been very fair about this. It's a technical infringement. It's a little bit like ride height. If you fail the ride height even by a fraction, it's a fail. So it doesn't matter how momentary the overboost is, it's a technical infringement, and that's why he's out. So the team have accepted it. I'm sure they'll have changed the software. Well, problems in the pits for Boardman and for Frank Rathel, but you know, Gordon will get his head down and he'll progress forward very quickly in this race. It
could be quite fun for us to watch, with both him and Plato coming from towards the back. Tom Boardman, as you say, in trouble, and we saw Frank Rathel. I thought they'd already got that exhaust manifold changed on Rathel's car, but clearly they're still racing against time, so that's a shame. The Audi has pulled into its position towards the back of the field, so let's hope he doesn't have any problems this time around. And Boardman's going to be starting from the pit lane exit, so he'll have to wait until the cars have gone past him, and then he can join at the back. Green flag waves then as we get all set for round 5 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. Matt Neal on pole position. Watch James Nash, who was so fast at the first start. It's quite a good start from him, but a good start from Andrew Jordan. Andrew Jordan makes the best start from the outside of the front row, and Matt Neal may lose second. He has. James Nash goes into second. It's Vauxhall 1-2. The Pertec car ahead of the 888 car, then Matt Neal in third place.
Yeah, and a great start by Rob Collard up to 4th. He had an absolutely demon start, got right through the middle of the row in front and up to 4th place already.
That is an excellent getaway for the BMW driver, and he's putting Matt Neal under pressure. Just a clip on, and off, in the background, cars off in big time, through the hall then to Plato. It's Plato, up and over goes Jason Plato, rolling here on the first lap at Donington, and the reigning champion is out in dramatic style. That was a fast accident.
Oh, that was so frightening to watch, because the car went off onto the grass at about 120 miles an hour, and Jason was just a passenger. He couldn't steer it, he couldn't do anything. He's okay, that's great to see, but
everybody.
Well, he's really upset and very unlucky. But don't forget, he had that huge accident at the chicane here last year, and the team rebuilt the car for the last race. So, I mean, it'd be a miraculous achievement, but he could be out for the last race. You never know.
My goodness, what a big shunt that was. Safety car is out. They're all going to have to back off and slow down here as Jason gets out. That's the great thing. I mean, these cars, sitting inside one yesterday as I was, I mean, that cage around you, you feel incredibly safe and secure, and you can see the roll cage in through the rear window. There's his mum and his wife and dad there as well, looking very concerned, but he's fine. That's the good news, and everybody there to check that he's all right. But that cage inside, that steel cage around you, Tim, that's where the strength is. The Audi off as well there.
Yeah, the Audi, Liam Griffin and Matt Neal all off. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the bodywork looked heavily damaged there, the roof and everything. But you've got to remember the roll cage. You've seen when the drivers are being interviewed on the grid how complex that roll cage is. It's an integral steel space frame in itself, and it would be impossible to crush that, really. So I don't think, however dramatic it looked, I don't think he was really in any danger. We've got an on-board, so we can follow this all the way through from Jason. He makes a good start. That's Liam Griffin in front. He moves to the outside of Liam Griffin and then back across to the inside a little bit. He's up behind Tony Gillam now, nicely in a good position coming out of Redgate, trying to get up the inside. Oh, bit of contact there. Then, now what happens here? What happens here? Because he's in a good position. Oh, there goes the Audi just on his left. He had Liam Griffin and the Audi on his left, and now he's a passenger. Oh, just into that bank. I've never seen a car go off there before, ever.
Nor me. I mean, that's the first one for me to see a car go off like that and hit the grass bank. I mean, it actually hit it at quite a glancing angle, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Just watch at the top of your screen. Oh, actually, Liam Griffin got turned into the front of across the nose of the Audi. It was the bunching. They were all trying to take that line down the craners, and it was 3 into 1 won't go. And Liam Griffin got turned around the front of the Audi and across into the side of Jason, and the contact just there. You see it there. So it's just bunching on that part of the course, and Oh, look, poor old Jason, he just can see it coming, but he probably doesn't expect the car to roll over like that. Griffin's got his bonnet up, he can't see anything.
Cameraman or photographer there, well, trying to get out of the way, but he must have thought he was safe there. He was miles away from anywhere, but a very worrying incident. He wouldn't really have known what was going on to his left. That must have been a real shock to suddenly be on the grass.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it at the top of the Craner curves on many occasions in the past. I remember an accident with Alan Slight a few years ago in a Vauxhall with a very big accident, but it just happens sometimes when the...
Yeah. We just there is some attention for a marshal there, so there's a little bit of concern that he might have just been clipped by some debris or something. So everybody there obviously keeping an eye on him. The Audi also being picked out of the gravel. So let's hope there are no injuries from that accident. And as we've both said, it's a very unusual place to see a car sort of end up. These guys might be busy, mightn't they, later on if they get that car back?
Well, I mean, the damage looked more extensive than even I thought when I saw the car. The roof is very heavily dented. I mean, Peter Riches, the TOCA chief scrutineer, will have a look at that car and he'll determine very quickly whether it's repairable or not. If there's any damage to the roll cage or break of the roll cage, he won't allow them to fix it. The cosmetic damage they can fix fairly easily, but if there's any damage to that cage, it will be deemed unable to race.
Well, real drama here in race 2 of the day at Donington Park. There's the battered and bruised RML Chevrolet, and the basic, as you say, the basic cockpit has held up well. Rod Underwood, team manager there, they'll be discussing what the next step is, when they can get the car back, how they can look at it and see if there is any possibility of getting it out for the third race of the day. But what an absolute disastrous campaign it's turning into just this weekend at Donington for Jason Plato. Had a brilliant start to the season with 2 victories at Brands Hatch, but a puncture in race 1 and now a dramatic accident. Rob Austin is out of his car, he's fine. That car didn't receive such a big hit. It was slightly involved in the whole incident, but it didn't look as though it got a big hit.
No, it was Griffin sort of turning across the front of him, and of course we've said it before, but a front wheel drive car with a little bit of contact at the rear and you're a passenger. But yeah, I should think very little damage to Griffin, to Rob Austin's Audi there, but clearly it's bedded deeply in the gravel and we're going to be a few laps still under the safety car, I think.
Tom Boardman started from pit lane, of course, so he is at the back of the field. This will help him a little bit. The safety car will bunch them up. Another look at the onboard, and this, talk us through it again, Tim, because it's a classic sort of starting sequence here.
Yeah, I mean, Jason makes a good start, moves up a couple of positions. He's got momentum into the first corner, so he has no choice but to go around the outside of Griffin. He then gets back to the inside, and he's going to try and tuck it up the inside of the Collins car of Gillam. Now, because of that bunching there, everybody gets a bit closed up here. And on his left, you've got the Audi there, well, the Audi and Liam Griffin's car come together.
I tell you what, you know, you get used to the speeds they're doing when they're on the tarmac, don't you? And then when you're on the grass, that's when you realise just how fast they're going.
Yeah, and it's the frightening thing for a driver as well, because suddenly you lose control. It's like when you hit a patch of black ice on the road, or a tiny patch. Even when you're going very slowly, the car just seems to accelerate. And that's Sophie and Jason's mum just consoling each other there. They will have been very pleased to see Jason get out of the car so quickly, and obviously not with any effects of the accident.
Yeah, so let's just confirm where everybody is at the moment following the safety car. It's Andy Jordan who leads. James Nash in the black Vauxhall is second. Matt Neal, who was on pole and made another poor start, is third. Rob Collard is fourth. Tom Chilton is fifth. And then Matt Jackson is sixth. O'Neill is seventh. Onslow Cole runs eighth behind safety car. McDowell is ninth. And Foster is 10th. Now, we saw that Frank Rathel wasn't able to make the start of this race. Simon is with Frank and can tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, Frank, obviously a bit of a dramatic time going on here. The boys working very hard. What exactly seems to be the problem?
We developed an issue halfway through the first race. The exhaust manifold cracked and a couple of other things which actually stopped my progress in that race and robbed us of a brilliant finish. But the boys are working absolutely flat out to get the problem fixed, and hopefully we'll be able to hit the track before the end of the race.
So is this basically going to be a glorified test session and hopefully get the car right for the final race? Is that the plan?
Absolutely. Every time we run the car, it's a test session for us, and we're learning all the time. So just to even get out there and get 3 or 5 laps, we're going to get valuable information, and like you say, which would hopefully put us in good stead for the final race of the day.
We look forward to seeing you out there, Frank. Back to our commentators, to Tim and to Ben.
Thank you very much, Simon. The safety car, I think, is going to be in at this end of this lap. Let's have a quick word with Gordon Shedden. We're just having a little look at his start first of all, Tim. How did it look from his point of view?
Well, he makes a good start as you'd expect and gets a good run down to the first corner, passes several cars. Look in front, there you can see Griffin's car. In front of him you can see Plato there on the right. Now as we follow it, you see Plato gets checked up, Griffin goes round the outside, Shedden is lifting. Now watch this.
Oh, it's Shedden.
Oh, it actually looked like Shedden ran. Did Shedden run into the back of Griffin? It's difficult to. I didn't hear an impact. He may have just been backing off as Griffin lifted off as well, but difficult to tell.
So where are the guys? They are heading around at the moment. Let's just have a quick word with Gordon. Gordon, it's Ben here. No, you're just getting quickly ready for the restart. That was all a bit dramatic on that first lap.
Yeah, all happening in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. Don't know what people are playing at in front, but it was particularly slow halfway down Craners.
Okay, we'll let you get back on with getting ready for the start of the race. It did all seem to check up there.
Yeah, it was bunching, but it's difficult to tell who hit who apart from at the end.
Okay, we're all ready for the restart then, and it's Andrew Jordan who leads as we get the race underway once again. It's Vauxhall versus Vauxhall up front and a Honda in third, and then a BMW and a Ford, and Chilton just clipped the rear bumper of Collard's BMW and has ripped a little bit of it off, and it's all being broken up in front of everybody. Jeff Smith getting involved. There's Andy Neat, who got a couple of penalty points after the first race, but it's Andy Jordan who's made the restart.
Yeah, we thought these two guys, Jordan and Nash, were going to be strong, and they both made excellent starts.
Yeah,
he really needs to work on his starts because he's going to compromise his racing, but the two of them are going at it. The tyres will be up to pressure now and bedded in, and they haven't got quite so far to go, so hopefully they'll make it comfortably to the end of the race.
Shedden's making moves. He's got past he's got past Jeff Smith there round the outside, who's being chased by Andy Neat in the Team Aon Ford Focus. So Newsham runs wide. Newsham gets back on the tarmac right with John George there, who's trying to sneak up the inside, but Gordon Shedden gaining yet some more places on this lap, and he might be he's just on the back of the top 10 now, I think, although there is a bit of a gap to the next group. So there's the lead group, and there's Matt Jackson. He's just found a way past Tom Chilton, and that's put him up into 5th place. So Matt Jackson charging in the red Airwaves Ford, and now Tom Chilton's under pressure from Paul O'Neill in the first of the purple Chevys, and then the Golf is behind, and then Alex McDowell.
Yeah, a lot of people going well here. Jackson now with the geometry of the car sorted out. Remember, he had that deranged rear suspension the first race. We'll see just how fast he is. And also here we're going to see Jackson's move on Tom Chilton.
Yeah, this
gets
was
good drive out of the corner, a little bit of a touch there, eased him wide. Good initial acceleration. It was the initial acceleration and traction that got him off the corner well.
Yeah, that was very effective, and he had it all done by the time they got to the chicane. Jordan leads from Nash in second, then Matt Neal, then Collard, Jackson, Chilton, and then behind him is still Paul O'Neill, and then Tom Onslow Cole in the VW Golf. They'll be well pleased with this. It's running in 8th place and just shows you the sort of progress they're making with that car. And Andrew Jordan and James Nash now, although their tyres won't be as strained as they would have been if this race had run full distance at full speed, still perhaps need to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, they will still be a little careful. I think that certainly some guys, Jackson is going absolutely flat out. He was on the back of Collard on that last lap, but made a small mistake at McLean's and dropped back, but he's instantly got back on the back of Collard again.
On board with James Nash, sitting in second place as Matt Jackson's got past Collard. He's got him, but Collard can't fight back on the exit of the corner. Collard's got the inside line down into Craners. They're almost rubbing at one of the fastest sections of track, but they just squeeze across in front of each other. That was the area Plato went off earlier. That was well driven by all of them.
Well, if you get a chance to watch that back, just look at the judgment of Matt Jackson. Collard goes off and he's going to drop at least one place, maybe two. But and gets a wiggle on the back as well.
And O'Neill ended up on the grass there, I think, behind him, didn't he? Because he was trying to give him enough space. So it's dramatic stuff, but they've all still kept going. Jordan from Nash, from Neil, Jackson up to 4th place now ahead of Chilton, and Collard definitely losing out a bit on that lap. Tom Onslow Cole is loving this because he's got the golf almost on terms with some of these front runners.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job and taking a lot of the inside curve as well, but he needs to get every advantage he can in that little golf to stay with the...
Oh, Jackson's
gone straight on, no!
Matt Jackson goes straight through the chicane. He's going to have to come back out behind Tom Chilton. Well, he hasn't gained anything, so he should be all right. Look at the battle for the lead. Andrew Jordan and James Nash really fighting for the lead.
Yeah, getting very close now. We're into the realms already where tyre wear and setup will have an effect. So these two young guns really going at it.
Yeah, and let's see what's been going on in the meantime. This was the onboard of Matt Jackson as he came down to the chicane. Lock up, lock up, lock up, can't turn in, straight through the gravel.
Can't turn in, he made a very quick decision, didn't he, to sort of straight line it. Oh, was that a roll as well?
I don't think so. I think it's John George.
It's the old hairpin.
It's John George in the second of the two Chevys. No, it is O'Neill, sorry, it is Paul O'Neill. I thought it was number 28 and through the dust, but it's number 29. It's Paul O'Neill who's off, and he was running in 7th place. So I don't know what happened there, but he's now off. So top 3, no difference. It's still Jordan and then Nash and then Matt Neal in 3rd place. Neal carrying ballast in this race, remember, the maximum 45 kilos. Tom Chilton is in 4th place. Matt Jackson is in 5th place. Let's just see them through. Chilton and Jackson, and then it's Collard next, but no O'Neill, of course, because he's off down at the old hairpin, and that means that Onslow Cole is 7th, McDowell is 8th, Shedden is 9th, and Foster is up to 10th.
Yeah, you see, what Matt Neal is, he knows that Plato's out, so that's one of his potential championship rivals. He's carrying maximum ballast, so he's just going to sit in 3rd place. He's not under any pressure, and he's going to let these two battle it out at the front. And if they either overwork their tyres or take each other off, he'll be the beneficiary. But whatever happens, he knows he'll pick up good points and look after the car, lose a bit of weight for the last race, and then try again. So Matt is already driving with championship in mind.
Lovely view from the onboard here as James Nash chases after Andrew Jordan.
Watch how much curb they take here, right across the inside.
Both using the Vauxhall Vectra, which is a well-known, trusted car, of course, of British touring cars, but both with the Swindon-tuned NGTC engine, so absolutely evenly matched, just run by 2 different teams. And Andrew Jordan tucks it into the first part of the chicane. He's won races in the past. James Nash is yet to win a race, or at least win a race and keep it. He has won a race on the road, but unfortunately got excluded for the victory. Jordan just holding the edge. Then it's Matt Neal in 3rd place. There's Tom Chilton in 4th. Matt Jackson getting quite close to the back of him.
Yeah, he is. This is another interesting battle between the new Ford Focus, the global Ford Focus being run by Team Aon, and the Motorbase Airwaves Racing older version, their last year's car actually, in the hands of Matt Jackson.
New fastest. Oh!
Will he hold it? Will he hold it?
Oh, Chilton, how did he hold that? Fantastic. But Jackson's got the momentum, and he's going to draw alongside him. Who's going to win the battle into McLean's? Chilton's on the inside. Oh, no! They've hit each other. Jackson spins across the front of Chilton. Oh, what a shame. And he goes straight into the gravel, loses loads of places. He may still be able to get back on.
Well, you saw 2 amazing pieces of car control there. Firstly by Chilton down at the old hairpin, and then by Jackson to keep that car going. But the lead is really close. Look at Nash, he's really putting a lot of pressure on it.
This is great stuff between 2 youngsters, 2 hungry young guns, and there's no love lost after a comment in the press that James Nash made that made it clear he felt that Andrew Jordan wasn't at his level. Well, let's just see what's going to happen here. There's honour at stake. They both want to win this race. They both want to be top Vauxhall, of course, to finish this race, and it could be quite a needle match in the remaining laps.
Yeah, no question. They're both going to keep on it, and here we've got
Jeff Smith just defending from Nick Foster. In fact, yeah, he's gained that place. That is into 9th. Foster, though, fighting back in the BMW on the inside. 2 new guys to British touring cars, and they're doing well. So far, so good. Keep it sensible, guys. Oh, no! Contact, contact. Off goes Foster. Through the gravel. He's going to come back in front of everybody here. Oh, straight across in front of Gillam, thankfully. thankfully there was no contact.
Well, I was really worried about that car rolling because it went through the gravel sideways, and that was so dangerous. I was talking in qualifying about when Matt Jackson went off. Now this is Jackson trying to get past Chilton. We'll just get a replay here. He thinks he's got enough of an overlap. He's flouted on, he moves across to defend the line, but he hasn't got quite in front of Tom Chilton, and then it's flat on the throttle again. Well, we've had so much instant this race.
It's incredible. Tony Gillam is part of that group now with Smith and Andy Neate as well, and Matt Jackson's at the back of that group recovering. That is Matt, who had the incident. We just had the replay, and he's now joined the back of the group. Yellow flags down there, so somebody's off at the outside somewhere of the is it into Redgate? Safety car, safety car, that's why. So we're all going to queue up behind the safety car once again.
Well, this is going to close everybody up again, isn't it? Especially at the front as well. So I'm assuming that's to move the stricken car of
Mike Jordan talking to Andy over the radio. He's a busy guy today, Mike Jordan. He's on the radio for both his drivers because their race engineer Carl Foe had to go home. His child's very unwell overnight, so certainly the team were thinking of him. They said, no, you must go. So Mike's taken on a bit of a double role on the radio. Look at this replay, Tim. Oh.
Well, I mean, you've got to remember that accident started at the top of the Craners and it didn't reduce the speed at all. Here we go, side by side. It's always a risk, always a risk. They come through, they get to the left-hand bit. They're both trying to give each other room, but just as the car's running, the slightest of touch, and away goes Foss. That was where I was worried the car might start rolling. It didn't, but look, spears across the track. And I mean, none of the other drivers would have known where that car was.
No. 120 mile an hour as they touch there.
And Jeff Smith at the bottom of the hill here, he doesn't know where the BMW is, so he comes through the corner, doesn't know, and he only just gets missed.
Well, thankfully, no contact was made there. Safety car still out. Let's see if we can have a quick word with James Nash. He's running in second place at the moment in that queue. James, this is Ben in the commentary box. You're having a good race at the moment. Do you think you can get past Andy Jordan?
Yeah, it's going all right. I think Matt's keeping up with us now, so we just lost the advantage that we did have. I was just trying to keep pressure on Jordan and make him hop over some curves, see if I can get him to ruin his tyres. It hasn't worked so far, but another 5 laps to go.
How's your car feeling?
Yeah, it's fine. Just trying to stay off the curves, which is costing me down the back straight. Other than that, it's stayed fairly consistent.
Great. Well, keep up the good work. It's certainly an entertaining race. So there's James.
Cheers.
Yeah, no need to really stay off the curbs at this stage. The tyres are up to pressure, and that's the key thing, getting up to pressure so the sidewall can withstand the impact of the curbs, but that clearly won't be an issue now. And he actually seems to be more worried about Matt than he is about Jordan. I would say, you know, experience would tell him that Matt isn't going to do anything silly and he should concentrate on trying to get past Jordan.
Yeah, that's right, yes. Matt Neal's thinking about his championship lead, which he took after the first race of the day here. Just to remind you, if you've joined us, Jason Plater having a dramatic rollover accident at the start of this race, but he is okay. But he is very much out of this race, and we're not sure whether his car will be rebuilt for race 3, but we're about to see this race get underway once more. Watch out for Tom Onslow Cole. He's now up to 6th place in that Golf. This is the best run we've ever seen from it. And it's now in its 2nd year in British touring cars. They're all bunched up, and this is going to be a 4-lap run to the end here to see who comes out on top. Parked a few cars out of the way, so they're not in a dangerous position behind the bridge. Here we go, race gets underway again, and Andy Jordan has the advantage in the Pertec Vauxhall, but James Nash is tucked in behind him. Matt Neal in 3rd place. Matt Neal not quite as quick at the restart as I thought he might be, so he's not able to challenge into Redgate corner. They're chased by Tom Chilton in 4th, Rob Collard in 5th, then it's Tom Onslow Cole in the Golf, but he's under pressure from Alex McDowell in the Chevrolet.
Yeah, it's going to be some good battles right to the end of them. We've got more side by side through the Craners. They've sorted themselves out now, fortunately.
Shedden gained one there. Shedden has got past McDowell, so Shedden coming from the back is now up to 7th place.
Yeah, this is fantastic drive. He's really picked his way through. He's only a few behind Matt Neal now, who started on the front.
Yeah, so Gordon Shedden has had a remarkable run, helped a little bit by some of the incident. Andy Neate just going up the inside of Liam Griffin there, and the rest of them coming through. Couple of cars running wide on the exit of McLean's, but so far so good. Tony Gillam still in that lead group. He's running in 9th place, I think, at the moment. But you've got the BMW of Collard, then the Golf. Look at the leaders, Andrew Jordan, James Nash. Nothing much to choose between them, but Nash not quite close enough. And there's Shedden getting past Onslow Cole. So he's now got past the Golf. That's another place gain. That's 6th position now for the Honda of Gordon Shedden. And he's fought his way. So as you say, they've got 2 cars in the top 6 now.
Yeah, and I think he's probably got a good chance of maybe getting Collard as well, although we know how robustly Collard can defend if he needs to, and it comes down to the last lap.
That's for sure. But we're on board with Shedden here. This is the onboard view from the Honda of Gordon Shedden as he follows Rob Collard. Still got that rear bumper damage from the very start of the race, but it's not, I think, affecting the handling of the car. Through Old Hairpin, over that curve on the inside, run it out wide, but just about the right place. Past a couple of the stricken cars as they come up the hill. Not close enough to attack here.
No, not yet. He's just going to concentrate on a perfect lap and try and get on the back for the last couple of laps and put some pressure on. But great drive by Onslow Cole, really fantastic. We know that car's still a little bit underpowered, but he's driving the wheels off it.
He's ahead of Alex McDowell at the moment in the Chevrolet, and then behind them you've got Tony Gillam, Jeff Smith, Matt Jackson still trying to pick up some places. Matt Jackson actually, I think, will gain. Oh no, Smith goes off. That was contact with Jackson as they came down the straight. A bit of squeezing going on. Is he going to keep it out the barrier? Yes, he does, and he should be able to get back on as long as he doesn't hit the bumps too much. It's Andrew Jordan who continues to lead as we go on to lap 18 of 19. Nash in second, and now Chilton putting Matt Neal under pressure.
Chilton's found a bit of form at the end of this race. And look, Shedden's looking down the inside. I'm sure he's going to get Collard sooner or later before the end of this race.
He really had a little look down the inside there, didn't he? Let's take a look at Shedden as he's right up behind on that damaged rear bumper of Rob Collard. Look at the car sliding there. Wonderful picture. 120, 125 miles an hour as they go down through those Craner curves, and you can see just how much control Rob Collard had of the car at high speed. I talked to him after the first race and he said he is absolutely on the limit in this car at the moment. He has a great handling car, but he doesn't have a turbo engine, of course. Up the hill comes the race leader, Andrew Jordan, up towards Coppice. Just enough of a gap. Chilton really putting Matt Neal under pressure. And look at Onslow Cole in the black and red Golf with Alex McDowell and Tony Gillam now ganging up on him. Can he hold on to this position, which would be the best ever position for the Golf in the British touring cars in modern times anyway? And Jordan still fending off Nash. Chilton follows through the chicane as they come around this time. We'll be going on to the final lap. Here we are then. The last bit is left, just under 2 miles. Is Andrew Jordan going to be able to hold on from James Nash? And what about behind them? Is there going to be any changing? Using a little bit of curve through Redgate Corner, accelerating hard out of here, through the gears. 4th, 5th, 6th gear, flat out through this left-hander where we've seen so much incident already today, down the hill towards the Old Hairpin. Matt Neal still under pressure from Tom Chilton there in the Aon Ford, and on for a decent result, but can he get a podium finish? That's the question. Behind him is still Rob Collard and then Gordon Shedden. Shedden hasn't found a way past that BMW as yet, and in fact over this last lap Shedden has just dropped back a little bit. It's Chilton who's the one putting the main attack on here for 3rd place. A little shift out of the mirrors there from James Nash, but it doesn't look as though he's going to rattle the cage of Andrew Jordan. Just the 1 corner to go in this second race of the day. Andrew Jordan seems to have it as long as he gets the braking right down into the right left. These 2 youngsters have put on a tremendous show, Andrew Jordan and James Nash, but it is going to be Jordan who takes his 3rd ever British touring car win. Nash a fine second, his second place of the year. Look at the background, because Tom Onslow Cole is going to get the Golf home in 7th place. That's a brilliant result, and Gillam got past McDowell just over the line there, and that was also a strong run. So for the Triple A team, celebrations for 2nd, but Mike Jordan, look at the smile on Dad's face. He's talking to Andy over the radio, and what a brilliant result. This is their local track, and that was a beautifully driven encounter from the 2 guys up front. Both Jordan and Nash drove a beautiful race there, kept it under control. They raced each other hard and fair, and the gap in the end just 3/4 of a second between the 2 Vauxhalls. Matt Neal though held on to 3rd, He defended well from Tom Chilton, who really seemed to come on strong after that final safety car period. The Ford working very well in the closing stages there. Collard did a fine job to finish in 5th place, top of the normally aspirated cars, of course. Rob Collard in 5th position, and he fought off Shedden towards the end there, who had come all the way from the very, very back of the field. And Tom Onslow Cole, the best result for AMD Miltech to date in the British Touring Car Championship. A really superb result in the Golf, which is still being developed. 7th place for them, and Tony Gillam a fine 8th, McDowell in 9th, and Matt Jackson, who recovered after that contact with Chilton earlier on, to finish in 10th place. But my word, that was British Touring Cars at its most dramatic at various stages there, particularly of course at the very start, and the accident of Jason Plato coming from the back as he was. It's always tough to find your way through traffic, but contact in the end, sawing him roll over, but he's okay. The result, Andrew Jordan the winner, narrowly from James Nash. Matt Neal in 3rd, and good points for him. Tom Chilton in 4th, then Rob Collard. Gordon Shedden from the very back of the grid to 6th. Tom Onslow Cole in 7th, Gillam in 8th, ahead of McDowell and Matt Jackson, who recovered to finish 10th. Out of the points, Andy Neaton, John George. Jeff Smith, who survived a rocky ride, he finished 13th. Chris James 14th, then Dave Newsham and Tony Hughes. Nick Foster was down in the end, something happened to him. Tom Boardman, he went out. Paul O'Neill, of course, he went out. Frank Rathel had problems with his car, unfortunately, and dramatically Jason Plato out on the first lap. Well, this is what it's done in terms of the points. Matt Neal is still the leader, but look at James Nash. My goodness, he's up to 2nd, only 2 points behind Matt Neal. Now, who would have thought that? But he is putting in a really consistent run of results at the moment. Matt Jackson's in 4th place. Look at Plato. He led after Brands, but he's dropping down a little bit here. And Andrew Jordan has moved up. He's up to 5th now, just 4 points behind Jackson. Chilton is staying pretty consistent. Shedden, important points for him. Paul O'Neill disappointed to go out of that one. We never quite saw what happened there. Collard finished in 9th in the points, and Alex McDowell currently holding 10th place.
Welcome back to Donington, where the cars are just heading off prior to our final race of the day. So let's go over to our commentators, Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thanks, Lou. Well, here we go. I mean, what a dramatic race 2 we had, Tim, and now we're in for the 3rd and final race of the day, and Jason Plato's car is there. I can barely believe it.
Well, he'll be feeling that car out right now to see what it feels like, and he'll have a good impression of whether the wheels are pointing in the right direction. Hopefully they are. Hopefully he can really have a good race. We remember last year when he stormed through the grid. It may look ugly, but I think he'll do a great job with it.
Well, let's wait and see. There's going to be a real battle out there, a battle royal, I'm sure, as we get ready for this one. This is the grid. Alex McDowell starts on pole. Tony Gillam alongside him on that front row of the grid. Then Tom Onslow Cole in the Golf. Gordon Shedden in the fast Honda. Then Rob Collard in the BMW and Tom Chilton in the Team Aon Ford. Behind them we've got Matt Neal and James Nash, obviously been going well already today, and Andrew Jordan, the race 2 winner. He's back on row 5 with Matt Jackson. Andy Neat and John George are together on row 6. Then row 7 we've got Jeff Smith and Chris James. Dave Newsham in his BMW is next up on row 8 with Tony Hughes in the Toyota. Nick Foster, another BMW, and Tom Boardman in the Seat. They're on row 9. Paul O'Neill and Frank Rathel together on row 10. Then there's Jason Plato on row 11 with the other repaired car, the Airwaves Ford of Liam Griffin. A lot of work gone on there, and the Rob Austin Audi is at the back. So cars making their way round on this warm-up lap. Jason Plato's car, incredibly, is running. It's out on circuit, but what on earth does it feel like having been rolled early on? Well, let's go and ask him. Jason, this is Ben in the comm box. How does that car feel after the amazing job your guys have done?
Hi Ben, I mean, let's not play it down too short. They have done an absolutely amazing job. It feels pretty good. I mean, it looks like a transformer, but they've done a brilliant job. So yeah, I'm very grateful. It's a pleasure to work with them. I mean, they're just the best in the business.
Well done to all of them, and good luck for this one. A remarkable performance there by the team. Look at the battered roof there, Tim, but He's weaving around, he's got a feel for the car, he seems to think it all feels reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, and he will have a good feeling for it. And I mean, cosmetically, it's absolutely irrelevant what it looks like. All that matters is how the wheels are pointing, if they're in a straight line, how accurate the corner weights are, so that he can brake in a straight line. And obviously, if there are no sort of mechanical problems with the engine installation. But considering that had a corner ripped off it, it was rolled, it really was bent badly. It's an incredible job that they've done.
Look at that roof line. I mean, that is just something else, isn't it? Yeah. But it is there. He's ready to race. His teammate is starting from pole position, though. Remember, Alex McDowell with the normally aspirated Chevy. That's what the roof should look like. And Alex is going to hope to keep that car nice and clean and come through with his first ever win. That's what his target is here, and he's got Tony Gillam and Tom Onslow Cole around him, but it's Gordon Shedden starting fourth, who could be a threat.
Yeah, watch Collard and the BMW. He's been making good starts today, and he gets another good one.
Away we go, and Tom Onslow Cole going well from the second row. Look at the little Golf. Oh, we're going to shut middle again with Newsham. Oh, for the second time today he's involved in a start line accident. He's taken out Tony Hughes. Look at the damage, no brakes left on that car. Oh, and Gillam's off, so Shedden and Alex McDowell lead.
Yeah, Collard's had contact with someone at the first corner because Collard's left front, look. Oh, he's leading the race, but he's not. No, McDowell's in front, but Collard's had contact behind him. There looks like more contact here. Oh, it's Nash and Chilton.
My goodness, it's all gone absolutely crazy. Alex McDowell has been handed an early lead, but the safety car will pick them all up. What a chaotic start.
Well, I can't remember a meeting like this before, but you know, the reverse grid often sets up a situation like this because you have faster cars starting behind slower ones, and it's always a recipe for disaster unless people control themselves, and clearly that hasn't happened. But amazingly, we've got Alex McDowell leading Jackson.
Yeah, Matt Jackson is second in the Airwaves Ford Focus. He started 10th. He started 10th.
That is absolutely amazing. Obviously the safety car is out. They're all aware of it already, so there's no overtaking, and it may be out for a few laps while we just catch our breath after that amazing start.
Yeah, and up there as well, Matt Neal, his third. Remember, with the reverse grid, he started 7th on the grid, so Matt Neal's up to 3rd. Tom Onslow Cole, he's got damage on the Golf, and he...
Well, that's just shedding gravel from where he went through the gravel trap, in actual fact. Oh, no, he has, you're right, he's got big rear end damage.
Yeah, right rear, unfortunately, so it's the end of his race. And what a shame, because he made a great start, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Oh, get it in the pit lane.
Yeah, where's he going?
It looked like he was carrying on. But
yeah, hopefully he's got it in.
Collard in the pit lane for repairs. No, there he's got it in the pit lane. So that'll be a retirement.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'll get that back out. So let's just try and work out what went on in that. And I have to say, I feel for Dave Newsham. For the second time today, he's been involved in a start line shot. We'll have to see what happened, but the reigning Renault Clio champion who stepped up to touring cars. Tim, let's try and spot what goes on.
Collard gets a great start at the front. Now look further back. Oh, he's on the grass.
Yeah.
Newsham was on the grass, and at that point, he really needed to try and straighten the steering and keep it in a straight line going backwards, but so difficult to do from the driver's cockpit. He gets a good start, but is forced onto the grass, keeps his foot in, and it just spins up the rear wheels. There, he needs to keep the wheels straight, and poor Tony Hughes is trying to avoid him, and he's got a lot of damage to that car.
You got to feel for Hughes on that one particularly. So let's see what it was like from onboard Jason Plato. This was behind Paul O'Neill. The accident happens in front of him. Avoided it well.
Yeah, and he was looking ahead. A key thing for a racing driver starting at the back is to look ahead. Don't look at the car in front. Look through the car, look beyond the car and see what's happening. And Jason saw that happening very early on.
Yeah, picked it up very well, and so he survived that. He's come around, by the way, in 14th place under safety car. There he was with Griffin, Liam Griffin, who hit him in that last race inadvertently. He hit him, but he got past him on there.
Yeah, so Jason's picked up several places just by everybody going off, and that's Gillam in front of him, who was obviously on the front row.
Can we see? Gillam and the Golf made contact as they went through, and then Collard sort of collected them.
Yeah, he had no choice. It was synchronised spinning, wasn't it, by Onslow, Cole and Gillam.
Oh, that's such a shame. They sort of rubbed rubbed shoulders really as they went through Redgate Corner, but neither of them came out of it terribly well.
Yeah,
and
massively compromised Gordon Shedden. And then this other one.
That's actually where the Golf suspension got damaged, I think.
So he got hit twice.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was Chilton off as well, wasn't it? As a result, McDowell had made a break. He nearly made a mistake there himself. McDowell.
Yeah, he did.
The others then suddenly shot into view.
And that's how Jackson ended up in second place.
Yeah.
Because 4 cars went off in front of him.
And Nash, of course, got a tap from somebody coming down the hill.
Here's a good view of it.
Watch Nash here. He gets a bit of contact with, is it Jackson?
Jackson, I think, yeah.
And that takes Chilton out.
Yeah. Well, that's the second time Jackson's been down the grass there, because he went down there in qualifying, so he was obviously trying a new line out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was quite hard to work it all out, but safety car is still out there and lights are still on, so we're not going to get a restart just yet. Tony Hughes is out of his car. That's bitterly disappointing for this Speedworks crew, working so hard on this NGTC, the new car, now looking at all the damage down the side of it. Bitterly disappointing for the big man, but part of what happens now. This is on board Matt Jackson.
Yeah, this will be a great view, won't it? Let's see how he goes. Look at it now, he's back in 10th and he gets up to 2nd. Now watch how this all unravels for the driver. Up the back, on the inside of Nash. Gets an overlap just coming out, but there's a little bit of trouble ahead. He's backing off, you can hear him backing off and then trying to find some room. Now he's following Chilton and they're side by side through there. Onslow Cole maybe a little tentative. There's a touch, you can hear a touch. Oh, just crowding into the corner. And suddenly he's got a clear road.
It all opens up, doesn't it? Open sesame, says Matt Jackson, and sure enough, he's got a completely clear space in front of him. Matt Neal behind him. Andrew Jordan is running 4th. Andy Neat is in 5th place in the other Aon Ford, would you believe it? And Jeff Smith in the white Vauxhall is in 6th. John George is 7th. This is a real turnaround, this grid, and the lights are out on the safety car.
Yeah, and more action, I can promise you.
Yeah,
this race is not over yet.
There's lots more to come. So Andy Neat is in the Ford in that lead group. Chris James in the Chevrolet Lacetti is in 9th place. The former mini racer who's really taken a big step this year to come into touring cars.
But you've still got a lot of fast cars further back. You know, you've got Shedden, you've got Boardman, you've got Plato. Got Collard now on the back of the group, so you know there'll be fast cars coming through. Good restart by McDowell.
Here we go. Alex McDowell sets them off once again as they come across the line. It is McDowell who leads. Jackson in 2nd place. He's being chased by Matt Neal in 3rd. Then Andrew Jordan. McDowell defensive straight away because he knows he's got the turbocharged powered Ford right behind him through Redgate safely. Matt Neal, Andrew Jordan follow. Then Andy Neat as far up as we've seen him pretty much in British touring cars, but you've got, as you say, some quick guys back there who are all going to try and make some progress as quickly as possible. Matt Jackson definitely on the hunt, but watch out for the likes of Plato and Shedden moving up through the order.
Yeah, look at the front of Matt Neal's car. If you look under the front spoiler, he's got damage to the front spoiler, something hanging down there across the front, so that's going to compromise his aerodynamics quite drastically.
You saw how tight a line Alex McDowell took as he went up to McLean's because he wasn't going to leave the door open. Matt Jackson goes to the outside. Now this is where it's danger territory for the Chevrolet. He's got to cut to the inside, but he hasn't been able to do it, and he's given the space for the turbocharged Ford, and it should have the straight line speed advantage down here. Look at the background. Matt Neal coming under pressure from Andrew Jordan, but it's a change of lead. Matt Jackson takes the lead in the Airways Ford.
Yeah, we saw Matt Jackson do that earlier today, didn't he? That cut back onto the straight, and he's really mastered the timing of it, and now he's got a great opportunity here, especially if McDowell and Neal perhaps hold up Jordan.
So some changes further back. So Shedden's up to 9th, Boardman in 10th place. But this lead group comes through, and it is Matt Jackson who continues to lead, trying now to stretch that advantage. This is another look at it.
This is great. Jackson's put Matt down under pressure, so he has to defend going into Coppice, and then it's a simple matter to cut to the inside, use the torque of that turbo engine, short shift, and get the run onto the straight immediately on the inside.
Yeah, and in the perfect position then for the next corner. So there is Jackson. Jackson in the Airwaves Ford, his switch of car for the Airwaves team this year from BMW to Ford, the car that was driven by Tom Chilton last year. Alex McDowell still in second, Matt Neal in third from Andrew Jordan, then Andy Neate, James Nash on the move. Nash set fastest lap last time around, Tim, and he could be one making his presence felt here.
Yeah, he looks like he's got no damage to the car, so he's really moving. Let's see where Plato is. Plato coming into shot, he's still in 12th place, so hasn't maybe made as much progress as we thought, but we know how hard it is to pass the turbo cars.
Yeah, absolutely right. John George under pressure himself. There's Jason Plato. Let's just see if he's picked up any more places. That car so brilliantly rebuilt by the RML team. Cross the line he comes. He's still in 12th place, and behind him he's got Liam Griffin. He's trying to chase down Tony Gillam.
Yeah, and a competitive lap time from Jason that time of 12.3, so that's a competitive lap time at the moment, so clearly the car's starting to work a bit better for him.
Matt Jackson, though, the race leader with the fastest lap so far, still pretty close behind him. McDowell runs onto the grass just a little bit. Matt Neal trying pretty hard to fend off Andrew Jordan in the Pertec car, so the Honda not having it all its own way. He won earlier on today, did Matt Neal, then a good podium in the second race, but he's definitely under pressure for the podium here from Jordan. Andy Neate's holding on well, but the black Vauxhall of James Nash is now closed up to the back of Andy Neate.
Yeah, I think when Matt Jackson finished 10th in race 2 and they drew 9 out of the hat to reverse the grid, I think he was very disappointed. The person that ends up not getting a benefit out of that top 10 is always disappointed. I don't suppose he thought he'd be leading the race at this stage.
No, absolutely right. So let's see, on board with James Nash as we come down towards the chicane. He's looking to line up Neate, trying to get the run. He's got a good exit, and he's on the outside as they head down towards Redgate Corner. Now, can he make that work?
Well, it looks like the Ford's got enough power to stay in front. Don't forget Nash carrying a bit of ballast. That's definitely...
Oh, Andy! You can't squeeze when the guy's already there and he's paid the price. He's lost the place and Jeff Smith's gone through.
Yeah, that was too late to be defending that side of the road, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, yeah. James Nash seemed to have his nose just alongside. Jordan has got past Matt Neal. Andrew Jordan is up into third place. He managed to do it somewhere, and Matt Neal is down to fourth.
Yeah, look at the front of Neal's car. You can see the front hanging down below the front splitter right in the middle, and I guess
this is what happened with Nash and Neate. Nash went to the inside here, and then the contact.
Yeah, well, it's on board. It looks very obvious. From the outside, it's slightly different. I have to give some saving to Andy Neate, but clearly 2 into 1 wouldn't go.
So down the straight they come, and Tom Chilton beginning to make a bit of ground as he as well. That's Andy Neate we're looking at there, actually under pressure from Tom Boardman, who's moving up. So Neate, of course, dropping back a bit further now, and through the chicane they come. Chilton is actually out of this race. Of course, he went into the gravel trap in that first part. He was one of the victims of that chaotic first lap. Yeah, look at the Shedden's car, the damage on the front of that one.
Yeah, that's when they go through the gravel trap, if the front splitter digs in, obviously it just pulls that front splitter down in the gravel, and that's what's happened there.
So damage to that one. End of race for Gordon Shedden. Matt Neal under pressure here from James Nash and from Jeff Smith, who's having a really great run. Oh, and this is a good exit from James Nash. He's got alongside Matt Neal, and Matt definitely seems to be struggling a little bit with that car, because it's not only one Vauxhall, it might be 2 that are going to mug him here on the way up into McLean's. No, he just squeezes in front of Jeff Smith. Yeah,
with that, I mean, Matt could end up in the same situation with that front splitter that Gordon Shedden has done, but clearly it's making the car understeer more because he couldn't hold the car on line through the old hairpin there.
Shedden in. I wonder if they're going to send him on his way after a few repairs, and a bit of tank tape has been applied. Matt Jackson has a comfortable lead. The Airwaves car well ahead of Alex McDowell, Jordan in third, and now Nash in fourth place, Matt Neal in fifth, Jeff Smith is in sixth place, and as they come out this time they go on to lap 10 out of 19, so still got a little bit of time to go here. Let's just take a little look back over some of the action. This was Paul O'Neill on the inside of his teammate John George. I do hope they didn't touch. They didn't touch, but he got on the grass.
Yeah, I think there may have been the slightest touch. I mean, Paul O'Neill was actually trying desperately not to hit his teammate, but he was committed to that inside line, and once you're committed, you have to follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there was a slide from McDowell. He's lost a bit more ground. He got very carried away, and Jordan's now got a real chance to outbrake him as they come up the hill into McLean. He's done it very straightforwardly. That was a little mistake from McDowell, and he's paid the price.
Yeah, the mistake from McDowell on the exit of the old hairpin just cost him momentum, and Jordan did enough speed to carry on, and Smith threw on Matt Neal. Now Neal's really struggling.
He is struggling. I mean, you don't usually see people overtake on the entry to Coppice, do you? But Matt didn't seem to be able to fight that.
No, he's just trying to stroke it home, and I see him moving out of the slipstream there, so he's probably trying to get some extra cooling in that engine. Maybe it's running a bit hot as a result of damage to the front.
So all the favourites really having a tough time in this race. Matt Jackson is therefore out front. Remember, he had a good Brands Hatch. Lights flashing on Andy Jordan's car there as he heads on around. He's still in second place. McDowell is in third. And then behind is James Nash. Jeff Smith, as we know now, up to fifth. Matt Neal's dropped to sixth place. Tom Borman running seventh. Andy Neat is in eighth. Tony Gillam is in ninth. And Jason is in 10th place. So Jason Plato in 10th.
Yeah, well, we talked about, I was talking to Louise about Andy Jordan having a real strong potential championship chance, and I think we're seeing it now.
Yeah, but he's just lost a little bit of pace over this last lap, and McDowell has actually sort of reattached himself to his back bumper, so I don't quite understand that.
Maybe that's why he was flashing his lights, to tell the pit wall he's got a problem.
It did cross my mind, yeah. I wonder if Jordan has some sort of problem. We'll try and keep an eye on that. They've got the car of Frank Rathel. Smith runs wide. Does he lose the place to Matt Neal? No, he doesn't. Just gets back on in time, but it's a little bit close. So Jordan with McDowell and James Nash. Now Nash is lining up McDowell. Nash definitely in good shape, and Jordan seems to have backed the pace off a little bit. Perhaps he's worried about his front tyres or something else wrong with the car.
Yeah, see if he flashes the lights again. But I mean, they've got radios, so no reason why he couldn't tell the team what was going on. I'm sure he has, but he seems to have recovered his pace now. Yeah,
just one lap there where it seemed to struggle a little bit as McDowell clips that inner curve. Now the normally aspirated Chevrolet, of course, good through these fast corners, and you'll see that as they come down the hill. It's why McDowell's trying so hard down at this bottom corner, the old hairpin, because he knows he needs to carry more speed than the turbo cars here. Watch him. This was where he made that mistake earlier, a bit tidier this time, but Nash is still breathing down his neck.
Yeah, but through that speed trap at the bottom.
Oh, Matt Neal and Jeff Smith.
He's back through in front.
He is, he's got him back. So Matt Neal has got back past Jeff Smith, who must be relishing this, battling with former double champion Matt Neal in his first full season of British touring cars. What an opportunity, but he's got Tom Boardman with him now. This is where Matt Neal went for it.
Yeah, that's a bit of experience for you, isn't it? Passing a back marker, Frank Rathel, and Matt Neal sensed an opportunity and went for it because he knew that Smith wouldn't be looking. Oh, someone's been heavily through the gravel.
Dust clouds everywhere. We're trying to look through the gloom. Nash has got past McDowell, so Nash has moved up into third place now. James Nash into third, chasing after Andrew Jordan, but all of them chasing Matt Jackson. So Alex McDowell has fought valiantly. He started on pole, but he hasn't been able to fend off these cars that are working so well at Donington Park. Race leader Matt Jackson, he's controlling the pace beautifully. Good lap. He's 3.5 seconds ahead now of Andrew Jordan, with Nash in third, McDowell in fourth, and Boardman in fifth place. Still a few laps to go though, and they still need to make sure that they look after those front tyres.
Yeah, that's the thing Jackson needs to be doing. The Motorbase team, I'm sure, will be telling him, they certainly should be, to just look after his tyres, stay off the curbs, look after his brakes. He's got a nice lead at the moment. Jordan will be happy to take some points away from this, but it'd be a fantastic result for the Airwaves team, Motorbase, because they haven't had the best of luck so far this season.
Jason Plato, meanwhile, in 10th. He's pretty close to the back of Tony Gillam, a bit further down the order. You can see there, actually, the back of the next group, as Matt Neal and Jeff Smith are still hard at it. One way, then the other. Smith trying to come back, and there's Plato, who's now caught the back of Tony Gillam. So similarly, for another newbie into British touring cars, he's now got the reigning champion breathing down his neck.
Yeah, and Tony Gillam at the moment struggling for finances, literally only made this race by the skin of his teeth, by getting a plethora of people to help sponsor him for the meeting, and I know he'll be in the same position for Thruxton, so a good result here might help him get there.
Well, he's in 9th place at the moment, but to hold that he's going to have to fend off Plato, but he's got the turbocharged Vauxhall, and you can just see as they accelerate off the corner, there is that little bit of an opportunity to pull away, but now Plato will be very quick here, gets right up on him here as they go through Redgate and down through the Craner curves. This the area, of course, where Jason had that big accident in race 2.
Yeah, just after this left-hand bit, just here is where the speed trap is, and we saw Matt Jackson 127 miles an hour, the quickest car through there of the front group anyway, and you can see coming off the corner how much better the turbo cars are.
They are, but just remember the car you're riding on board was rolled several times earlier on. and yet he's able to lap at this very competitive pace, put the pressure on Gillam. He's not far behind his great rival Matt Neal, because Matt Neal's at the front of that little quartet and Jason Plato's at the back of it, so he's not far from Matt, as Jeff Smith again has a chance to get past Matt Neal here.
Yeah, but looks going to be close. It looks like going to be close, but Matt's a little bit quicker on the straight and later on the brakes. But Jason could benefit here from 2 or 3 places if things go his way.
Yeah, I'm sure we're trying to work out how he can take advantage. He's looking a bit frustrated though. You can see him sort of slapping the wheel there, Jason.
Well, it's very frustrating that he's obviously driving the wheels off it round the corners, but they're just pulling him away from him down the straights, and I know how that feels in the Porsche racing at the moment, actually.
So you can sympathise. Well, round they come. He's still running in 10th place at the moment. Liam Griffin is behind him in 11th. Collard's still running, by the way, in 12th, ahead of Paul O'Neill. Nick Foster, John George is still in 15th, and Chris James is behind. And by the way, the Audi is still running. Look at this. This is all getting pretty exciting ahead of Plato again. This might open an opportunity for him as Jeff Smith gets up the inside of Matt Neal and gets past him again.
Yeah, and Plato just into the back of Gillam a little bit there. It's getting all very tight and frustrated amongst them, but well, I think Gillam fancies his chances of getting past Neal, and look, he's trying to pull on the inside, but we know how quick that Honda is down the straight.
Yeah, it is, but as you see, Jason can't quite stay with them there. Jeff Smith, there's Jason's mum looking very, very anxiously on. Oh, and they've made contact, but Plato trying to get past Gillam, and he's made sideways contact. Is the car okay?
Well, he's obviously had a lunge at the last minute down the inside. Now they're passing Frank Rathel. Oh,
it's not right. Oh, and he's still trying to defend, but that car surely doesn't feel right. He's lost at least one. Rathel running wide there. And Frank's having some fun here, isn't he, as he gets up to speed in British touring cars. Yeah, but Jason's car definitely didn't look right when he was braking for Redgate, so let's just see what happened. And coming down the straight, look, it's going to be a massively late lunge by Jason. Oh, has to cut the corner to the inside just to sort of avoid heavy impact, and loses out anyway on the exit. Yeah, so that didn't work for Jason, and we think it might have done some damage. Let's wait and see. Up front, Matt Jackson, Rathel running wide, another of the new drivers into this series, but he's been very competitive in the Ginettas championship that he's raced before. Good sensible head on his shoulders. Meanwhile, Tony Gillam now trying to get past Matt Neal, so Tony Gillam moves to the inside in the pink and green car, and Matt Neal really fighting here to retain some points in this race. Said he can't fend off Tony Gillam, and Gillam therefore moves up into 8th place. Yeah, good drive by Tony, and then he'll be delighted to have passed Matt Neal. So in the background there's a little race going on between Liam Griffin and Rob Collard as well. Collard with that damaged front end on the BMW. Right behind him is Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill's down the inside. O'Neill trying to get past Collard. Oh, they've made contact. Now well, it repeats something that happened earlier. O'Neill felt that Collard had taken him off earlier in the race. I don't know whether that was a payback or just a racing incident. Yeah, well, we'll see, but the clerk of the calls have to look at it. But I mean, Frank Rathel he's been lapped, so in a way he shouldn't really be getting involved in this battle. Oh, is he? I didn't realise that. Yeah, he's not part of this battle for position, and yet he's really mixing it. And Plato's, what a line by Plato! Wow, he carried some fantastic corner speed there. And guess who's Bourman stopped on the track. What is he doing there? And Plato with Matt Neal now. So yeah. Matt Neal is the next one he's trying to get past, and he's done him. Matt Neal really, really struggling here, but these great rivals, is he going to give up the place? Certainly the Chevrolet can brake late, and he's through, so that will give Jason some satisfaction. He might not be up front where he wants to be, but he's got past one of his big championship rivals, and as he comes through he'll be in 9th place, couple of points, 8th place in fact, although Matt Neal's now trying to come back at him, down in towards Redgate corner. Can he do it? Oh, not quite. Well, that was brave of Jason. He was trusting in his ability to brake late rather than defend the line from Matt Neal, and he certainly achieved that, so good stuff from Jason. Jason in the points then, which is what he wanted to do to reward his team after their incredible job of getting that car repaired. There is the race leader who has a 3.5 second lead. It is Matt Jackson in the Airwaves Ford Focus. He had a very solid start to the season at Brands Hatch a couple of weeks ago, but this is an impressive display. Yes, things opened up for him on that first lap. But look at the lead he's been able to develop.
Yeah, he's held this lead, if not gained, on Andrew Jordan, a race winner already. So clearly there was no lacking of pace in that Airwaves Ford, and great job by Matt. He's brought it home really, really nicely. He's on to his final lap now, and I'm sure the team will be screaming at him to slow down just a little bit.
Well, there we are. Meanwhile, Jeff Smith now with Andy Neat. Andy Neat's the one who's actually got himself back up the order a little bit, crossed the line, virtually nothing between them. Neat just in 5th place. He's got Jeff Smith and Tony Gillam right with him, so that's going to be entertaining right to the flag as well.
Yeah, they'll be all sniffing blood. It's the last lap, and Smith gets a little bit of an overlap, and he gets through. Will Gillam get through as well?
Little touch. It's not the sort of place you want to be rubbing there as they come.
Oh, and Smith has a big moment there on his worn tyres. He's defending into the old hairpin. Gillam will get a run through here.
Oh, this is amazing stuff. Do you see all 3 cars finishing? I'm not sure. No, they're off. Oh, into the tyre barrier right in front of our camera. Andy Neat is out of the race.
And so will Gillam be, because it broke the right rear suspension on the car. That's going to move Plato up again.
Matt Jackson is going to come through to take the victory here. It's the first win for the Airwaves Ford Focus. The motor-base team that switched from BMW last year have taken victory at Donington. Andrew Jordan completes a very good day with 2nd place. Gillam sliding off with a broken suspension, as you say, Tim. Coming through in 3rd was James Nash. McDowell is finishing in 4th. Jeff Smith was in 5th. Is he going to be 5th? Yes, he is. So the Pertec team have done a brilliant job. They've got 2nd and 5th. Meanwhile, Plato finishes 6th. Well, with that car, I think that's a minor miracle, to be honest. O'Neill got, Matt Neal, 7th, O'Neill 8th, Griffin 9th, and Foster the final point in 10th. My goodness, I'm worn out after that lot, Tim. That was all happening right to the checkered flag. Let's take another look at this.
Well, I said Gillam would get a run at this. He does get a very good run, an excellent exit. The gap opens up for him on the inside, just coming up to Starkey's, and there's contact there. You see the right rear get broken, and of course, Neat is just a passenger as the car spears off.
That is quite something. Let's just take a look at this. This was also on that last lap. It was Liam Griffin who was...
Well, I think it was Gillam trying to get back round and then realising that his suspension was broken.
Yeah, I see. So that was him, unfortunately, not getting any points, I don't think, in the end. So after a very competitive run. But for Matt Jackson, a brilliant victory for him. It's his 12th career win. But importantly for the team, it's their first win with that car. David Bartram, the team boss, who made that difficult decision at the end of last year to sell the BMWs, which of course they had success with last year, and to buy the former Team Aon Ford Focuses. And there you are. Look, that's the reaction from Matt Jackson. Lovely to see him take victory.
Yeah, brilliant result, and the team's so enthusiastic. You know, they really love their motorsport, and as you say, that decision to move to the Fords and give up on the BMWs and develop that car that was given to them by Aon, Tom Chilton's team last year, and they've really done a great job with it, and congratulations to them.
Yep, they survived all the chaos and the drama. And Jason did well too, didn't he? Because Tim, you know, when he looked at that car after race 2, I just can't even believe it's out there.
Yeah, and I had my worries during the race whether it had the pace or not, but good old Jason kept plugging away and ended up with a 6th.
Chilton not looking very happy. He was parked over there, and he's with his teammate. He's trying to sort of explain what he saw, because he was watching, having gone out earlier in the race.
Yeah, he was on the other side of the track and obviously saw the incident. I mean, in fairness, Gillam had the run and was alongside, and Gillam did try and cut as much of the corner off as possible. And but whether Neat could have given him more room or was trying to take the line, here's the result.
Well, after a breathless race, it's Matt Jackson who takes victory from Andrew Jordan in 2nd, Nash in 3rd, McDowell held on for 4th, and Jeff Smith had a remarkable result in only his first full season. He's got a 5th place there. Jason Plato, great drive and a great performance by Silverline Chevrolet in 6th. Matt Neal finished in 7th, so he scored a few points with a car that wasn't working too well. Paul O'Neill 8th, Liam Griffin 9th, and Nick Foster 10th.
Well, we'll all have to catch our breath. Let's see the championship results.
Yeah, James Nash now leads the championship. Well, who would have said that? Matt Neal is 4 points behind him. Matt Jackson's moved up to a very close third. Andrew Jordan's in the hunt, and the early season leader Jason Plato has been pushed all the way down to fifth. So a big change in the points here after Donington.